So y'all, I am so excited. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to show you this. This is going to be a game changer for us. So first of all, let's unbox it. See what it is.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Okay, so I know that we're at the bow range right now to unbox this, but it's because, first of all, this is going to be for the barn, okay? But if we unboxed it at the barn, we would be fighting Daisy, Alfie, and Bo, and they would literally be trying to eat it. So let's go over here and we're about to unbox it.
Hey folks, this is Tony from G&G Farms. So, over the last few weeks, Kat and I have been discussing how in the world we can get power out at the goat barn. So y'all know that we put a barn up just a couple of months ago, and we have power to most of the devices or most of the buildings around here, except for the goat barn. And we've got multiple options. We could dig a ditch and run power from the house, or have a new pole set, or maybe bring power from my daughter's house, which isn't real far from the barn either. But after she and I talked about it for a little while, we decided, hey, why don't we do something a little bit different? Because you never hear folks talk about utilizing the fact that a new energy source or a new energy resource is solar energy. So solar is definitely going to be one of the ways in the future that America runs lights. So why don't we start now and really get our feet on the ground with, let's put some solar power in. Okay, so today I went to Northern Tool, which is it's kind of like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. They don't sell a lot of lumber, but they sell a whole lot of tools and wheelbarrows and generators and things like that. So I saw that they were running a sale on solar panels. So I went up today and they still had a few in stock. So the price on this thing is around 130 to 140 bucks for a single solar panel that the output is 110 watts. So if you think about that, the wattage output isn't that much. This thing will only produce enough wattage to run a 100 watt light bulb, or around 260 watt light bulbs, or 340 watt light bulbs, or something like that. So it's not a lot of power from the panel itself, but there's multiple ways that you can use these panels. Solar panels are designed for you to pull the sun's energy straight off of that solar panel and use it. But they're also designed to use with a different means or a different approach to storing that voltage. So one thing about a solar panel is you can't store the voltage on that panel with just the panel. The panel's not designed that way. So when the sun's out, the solar panel's energized, it's producing wattage, and that wattage can be used. It's something you can utilize in your house or your goat barn or in your shed or wherever you choose to. So one means of storing that energy is by attaching that solar panel to a battery. So a typical battery, like your car battery or a trolling motor battery from your boat, or golf cart batteries, or just a different type of batteries. And there's multiple types of batteries that you can attach to a solar panel. But the thing I want you to know about that is all you need is some type of battery to attach that panel to. So we have bought a whole kit with everything except the battery. I'm going to unbox this thing and show you what's in the box, and I want to give you a brief explanation of what that component is and what that component does. So I said earlier that solar is a way of the future. It's another way that we can use the natural resources to be able to produce enough voltage or enough wattage to light up or to run devices, or there's multiple applications that you can use for this type of solar energy. And here's the best thing about solar energy. You have a small cost up front, but everything beyond that small cost, it's all free. So once I spent that $130 for this solar panel and the components that comes with it, I get to use this solar panel for the next 25 years. This thing comes with a 25-year guarantee or a 25-year warranty, which we all know how that's going to be. But let's say that I got 20 years out of that panel. If I did get 20 years out of that panel, I have the ability to produce wattage inside of that goat barn for the next 20 years, and it cost me $0. So as long as I can maintain the panel and maintain the battery source that panel's attached to, I got free electricity. What did that 20 years worth of electricity cost me? $135. How long am I going to use it? As long as that solar panel will sustain itself. So let's open this thing up and let's look and see what do we have in the box. This is exciting times. We all have power from the local utility at home, but not all of us have a solar panel, or we don't have solar energy on the farm. So this is exciting times for us. We literally have a secondary voltage source or a secondary source of electrical energy that we can use on the farm. So if there is a storm that comes through and knocks the lights out, then hey, we can still go to the barn and we're still going to have lights and the ability to use electrical energy inside the barn. So solar don't go out. As long as your panels are up and as long as your battery is still operating, you still got wattage out that's never ending. As long as that sun will come out, we have electrical energy. So let's open this thing up and see what's in this box. So the first thing I see in the top of the box is some clamps. And these clamps are designed, to attach directly to the panel itself or to the charge controller or what device. So you can see it has a red clip and a black clip. In the electrical world, these clips, or the colors of these clips, they designate which post on top of your battery that you attach these clips to. The red clip always goes to the positive. The black clip on your battery, it always clips to the negative post on your battery. Let's see what else is in this box. Oh wow. So the next thing that we pulled out is a charge controller. A charge controller is an extremely important device when it comes to solar energy or solar electricity. So just a tidbit on what a charge controller does. Kat, can you see that? So what this charge controller is designed to do is to go between, and as you can see, one side of this thing says the battery, so this leads will attach to the battery, and this side of this lead will attach to the solar panel. So here's the crazy thing about solar energy. Even though it's free, you still can't just hook your solar panel up directly to your battery. You could, and you could use that wattage all day long. But here's the crazy thing. Once I hook this solar panel up to my battery and I use that panel to charge my battery, once that battery reaches 100% capacity or it gets to a level that it's fully charged, I don't want the solar panel to keep trying to charge that battery. But unless you have some type of charge controller, which that's what this device is made for. This device is designed specifically for the reason that once that solar panel is attached to that battery and that battery reaches maximum capacity, I want to separate the battery from the solar panel. If I don't, the solar panel, or the energy from the sun being produced through that panel, is going to boil my battery dry. So I'm going to ruin my battery because I had a solar panel attached to it. Once I get it up to 100%, I no longer need that solar panel to be attached to the battery. So this charge controller is designed to monitor the battery. Once this charge controller sees that the battery is at 100% capacity, the charge controller opens up and it separates, or it puts an air gap, an opened up air gap between my solar panel and my battery. If I don't, that panel is going to ruin the battery that I have it attached to. Charge controller is the open air gap. When I reach 100% capacity, it divides the two and it gets that panel, because I don't need that energy anymore trying to charge that battery. I need it separated, and the charge controller does that. Well, let's see what else is in the box. Oh wow. So, the next thing that we pull out of the box, can y'all believe this is only 135, 140 bucks, something like that? We literally got the voltage source, we got a charge controller, and it also came with a 300 watt inverter. So Kat, can you get a close-up of that and let the folks see what an inverter is, or what it says that it is? So I want you to look on the back side of the inverter. There's that red and black lead again. Do you guys remember what I told you about the red and black lead? So the red lead attaches to the positive post on your battery. The black lead attaches to the negative post on your battery. So if that be the case, then the other end of this red and black wire attaches to the back side of this inverter. So what an inverter does is it changes that DC voltage, or it changes that sunlight voltage into an AC voltage. That AC voltage is the same type voltage that you get at home. So when you go in the house, or you go in the kitchen and you plug the toaster up, or you plug the microwave up, the inverter, it changes this solar panel type voltage to a house type voltage. So you can see the red and the black leads on the back side of the panel, on the back side of the inverter, but look on the front side of the inverter. Kat, can you get a good picture of that? So on the front side of this inverter is two wall outlets, just like you would have around the living room or the dining room or on your kitchen counters. So now what this thing has done is I have used this solar panel to produce a voltage. When I produced a voltage with that solar panel, I put a charge controller between the solar panel and the battery that we're going to use. Once I get to the battery, I'm using this panel to charge that battery. Once I get that battery to 100% capacity, now I can take a set of clips and attach to the back side the red and the black lead, or the positive and the negative lead on the inverter, and I can invert this DC voltage, or this sunlight voltage, into an AC voltage, which is a utility voltage, or it's the voltage that comes in from your local utility company. Now, I can plug lamps in, I can plug anything into the front side of this inverter that I want to plug into it, and I can use this thing as a household voltage. I literally have the ability, with $139 out of a box that I went downtown and bought. Do y'all understand what I just said? I've got the ability to take sunlight voltage, turn that sunlight voltage into a household voltage, and utilize that household voltage. So I don't care if the lights go out. Hey, if we have a storm and a tree falls on a power line and it knocks the power out going to the house, it's okay, because we still have our solar energy, or our panels, set up, and we utilize that fact that that DC voltage turns into AC voltage, and now I got house voltage. And listen, this is my power station. Remember, this doesn't belong to the power companies. This belongs to the individual that purchases these. DC is definitely going to be a way of the future. And remember one more thing. The minute I spent that 130, 140 bucks, that power's mine. So from this day on, this is free electricity. I can use this electricity for the next 20 years, and it cost me $0. Free electricity. Okay, finally, we're going to unbox this panel. So I've talked about this panel and talked about this panel. And by the way, if you guys want to know how a solar panel actually works, how this thing is built, drop me a comment down in the comment sections, and one day I'll do a solar panel video and show you how this thing is constructed. It's amazing. I don't know who the individual is that came up with the panel itself, but that guy was a genius. So I'd really love to sit down one day and make a video and tell you how that solar panel works. Oh yeah, making a solar panel. So let's unbox this thing and let's see what's inside this box. Kat, do you have the camera on?
I do. Do you need help pulling it out?
Oh, I got it. So you can see this is a fairly large panel to be only 110 watts. The panels come in multiple type panels or multiple designs. So you can buy polycrystal panels or polycrystalline panels or monocrystalline panels. And this particular panel is a polycrystalline panel. So we'll go a little more into detail on that in a future video. I want you to see the panel and I want you to see what's on the back side of the panel. So I'm gonna kind of set the panel down, move the box out of the way.
Get his wife in gear.
So look on the back side of this panel. On the back side of the panel, there's a little connector box on the back that has 2 wires that come off of the back. One of these 2 wires is red and one of them's black. Now wait a minute. We've been dealing with red wires and black wires the whole time that we've been unpacking this thing. So as long as your red wire from your panel is attached to the red wire on your charge controller, and your red wire from your charge controller is attached to the positive post on your battery, and the positive post on your battery is connected to the red post on the back side of your power inverter, you can't go wrong. These things are designed where you can't hook them up backwards. So let me show you. If we take the back side of the panel with the red wire and the black wire and we look at the charge controller, this side of the charge controller says, Kat, can you get a close-up of that? This side of the charge controller is the side that the solar panel attaches to, and the other side is the side that you attach to the battery. So if I take the plug that comes off the back of the solar panel, and if I take the plug that comes off of the solar panel side of the charge controller, they literally plug into each other. So I've got a good solid connection. Now I have my voltage from my panel going through my charge controller, or what did we say a charge controller is? It's a switch that's going to open up once I get my battery to 100% capacity. Off of the other side, this is the side, and you can notice that the lights came on. So now the charge controller itself sees this solar panel voltage, and we don't even have this thing turned toward the sun. Isn't that crazy? So the other side of this charge controller is the side that attaches to my battery. So if I took the other leads that came with the charge controller, look at the end of these leads. The end of these leads that attaches to the battery, they have a black lead and a red lead. From the charge controller has a black lead and a red lead. So if I plug these 2 up, before I plug these 2 up, I want to separate these 2 leads. I want to get them where they're not going to touch, because now this solar panel is producing somewhere between 12 and 20 volts as I've got it set out. So once I plug these 2 wires in, the charge controller is doing its thing. I've got lights on the charge controller, and I have somewhere between 12 and 18 volts on these 2 leads. So I would literally take these 2 leads and attach them to my battery. So we don't have a battery out here. You know what? Let's turn this solar panel around. This thing's beautiful. So now my charge controller, the opposite end of my charge controller, would be attached to the positive side of my battery, and the black lead would hook to the negative side of my battery. Once I get those hooked to the battery, we're cooking with gas. We literally have the sun's energy at this point in time charging our battery. And I know that's not a battery, it's a piece of cardboard, but for our example, That's a fine battery because it comes straight out of the box. Cardboard battery. So the charge controller is doing its thing. Once my piece of cardboard reaches 100%, the charge controller would open up and separate the solar panel, the sunlight energy that's being produced in this panel. It would literally separate it from the battery that we had it attached to prevent me from overcharging the battery. All right, folks, until we get a battery and we get this thing set up in the goat barn, we're gonna stop right here. So the day that we attach this and we get everything hooked up, I'm gonna bring y'all along with us and let y'all see what the process is. It's literally plugging up a couple of plugs and you have AC voltage coming into the house. So if you have a storm, you have literally got the ability to still have power in the house for you to watch TV. Once you can get the TV on, then I can watch the weather. Isn't that correct? Don't you hate it when storms are coming through? First thing that happens is your power goes out, and if your power does go out, Lord forbid, if your power goes out, you can't watch the TV. So, and you can't watch the weather. You can't see where the storms are or what the storms are doing. So this is an alternative source that you could use to plug your TV into or to plug your satellite box into or whatever means of television that you have. So with that being said, the day that we set it up and we're going to hook it up in the goat barn, we'll bring y'all with us. All right, guys, like I said, this is Tony from G&G. I've enjoyed spending time with y'all and enjoyed talking about solar panels. I love energy. I love AC voltage and DC voltage, and we really have a good time with it. So y'all have a good day, and we'll see y'all soon.
Okay, guys, so I know that Tony can get quite excited when he's talking about electricity and solar energy and anything AC, DC power. That's what he does for his career. So he does get a little excited when he's talking about it, which is okay for me because I'm all about sustainability. And, you know, I always want to be prepared for anything. You know, when COVID hit and everybody was kind of on a lockdown mode inside their homes, you know, there was a whole rush on toilet paper. There was a rush on canned goods and rice and beans and stuff like that, just so that people were going into a panic mode. Am I going to be able to have this? Am I going to be able to sustain life as we've known it? Well, life was forever changed as we know it because COVID was here. And being a nurse, life was changed for me. So we sold our property and we bought a farm because we wanted to be sustainable and we wanted to have sustainability for our family. We wanted to be prepared in case anything else happened. And so when Tony and I talked about getting the power to the barn, we talked about having power when there was no power. And so we decided that, you know, just like me putting the pump on the air conditioner to save the condensate water, to be able to have water and not have to use money for that water, it's the same process. We want to be sustainable and we want to have power on the barn without having to spend that extra cash for power on the barn, because when we bought a farm, which means, you know, there's not a lot of cash flow in farming. If you think you're going to go into farming to make money, it's not going to happen because there is no cash flow. So we've got to be prepared for the future events. We've got to, and I don't want to use the word prepping because I don't feel like that's what we're doing, but we're preparing or prepping for the future. And we're saving money. We're being sustainable. So anyway, we hope you enjoy the video, and the mosquitoes are killing me out here. We hope you enjoy the video, and we look forward to showing you the end result of it because, gosh, it's so exciting. It's just exciting to get power on the barn. And I've got so many things that good things that I've got to announce to you that I just can't right now. So there are good things in the works, and just stay tuned because I am so excited about what is happening. Oh, and y'all farm on.
This side of the charge controller says, Kat, can you get a close-up of that? This side says that it's supposed to be attached to the battery. The other side of the panel attaches to the solar panel.
You got that backwards. You pointed to the wrong way.
Okay, whatever. So, starting over, this side works. Oh yeah, making a solar panel. So